Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Fantasy Football University, FFU, coming at you yet again in week 12 of the regular season, week 12 of the fantasy football season. I am Mr. Bildakusas. I'm here with Mr. Tom Lang. Mr. Lang, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. We're doing this show a little bit on the earlier side. Wednesday late evening. So yeah, I'm a little extra tired today, but I can't wait to talk about football.
Oh, we got lots to talk about. Yeah, normally to Tommy's point, we try to record on Thursday mornings the preview show just to try to get as up to date information as we can. We have some personal stuff going on, some personal obligations, so we'll be recording today on Wednesday evening. For the most part, things are the same, but good old Tommy here will have a Sunday live to catch you up with anything that might change ahead of the Sunday games. But we've got quite a slate of games here. And any other thoughts, or you want to jump right into here?
Let's jump right in. We covered everything pretty much yesterday early morning. I think that we're ready for some week 12 preview.
Oh, let's do this. So catch everybody up. Four teams are on bye this week. Broncos, Chargers, Dolphins, and Commanders. So two less games this week. And just a friendly reminder that all of our must starts and probably starts will be posted in the description of this episode's video on YouTube. And we thank you guys very much for following us wherever you guys do, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your grandma's house, wherever it is that you get
You
your
name it, we're there.
podcast, TikTok, etc. So we thank you. So let's jump right in here. Thursday night football. We've got the Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Buffalo are the road favorites, -5.5 points. The over under there is 43.5 points. This could end up being a real disappointer. I'm starting to the way I think about it. So
Mm.
must starts here. You got the Bills defense with the Texans with only 19 implied points, and I don't even know if they hit that. So you're starting the Bills defense, you're starting James Cook, and you are starting Josh Allen. Must starts for the Texans. You're playing Nico Collins. Probably starts. Just two names on the Texans here. So Woody Marks, don't know. It's going to be hard to go away from him as the main lead guy, and especially after what Sean Tucker did to the Bills defense.
Yeah.
You're going to be inclined to play Woody Marks here. And Dalton Schultz, he was our darling, tight end pickup, basically the last 2 weeks. It's hard to go away from him here. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for targets, and Davis Mills likes to throw the ball to him, so you could go with Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, Darnold Schultz, if you look at it for the past 3 weeks, he has 8 targets, 11 targets, 9 targets, and he's catching anywhere from 70 to 80% of his balls. He's not eclipsing 80 yards reception yards, but he did score a touchdown, so he is pretty much due right now. It's every other week he scores a touchdown, so he hasn't scored a touchdown since the Jacksonville game, and I think it's gonna happen this week.
we will see. We will see. Other options here, Mr. Lang, I would love for you to tell me if any Bills wide receiver should be started.
Uh, Good luck. You know that movie Taken with
Yeah,
Liam Neeson? Yeah, good luck. Yeah,
yeah.
good luck finding that guy that's gonna start. Honestly, I mean, I think honestly this should be a bounce back week for Khalil Shakir. I don't see why or how it just doesn't work out for him. So, last week was a dud. It happens. It happens to all fantasy football players.
It,
It happens to Jamar Chase, the best of them at times. We all remember what happened. What was it, week one? I spent all this money on Jamar Chase and blah, 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 blah. People were trading him away and all that stuff. And guess what happens? He's back up at it. So,
my 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 my,
not sa-
tre my trepidation there, which just to push back on Shakir as well as any Bills wide receiver, let alone the fact that it's a Russian roulette sometimes, is Shakir, in a game that had 44 points last week, where Dalton Kincaid, who is their lead target, was not there. Shakir did nothing.
Mm.
And I don't know what's going on with his injury situation this week, too. I think he'll be fine, but
Well, there's a lot of chatter basically that Coleman might be benched again this week. So if Coleman's benched again, I feel like Khalil Shakir has to be good. And honestly, that might open the door for Shavers again,
may maybe.
which I don't feel comfortable with playing him. But if you're in a deep league and you have, and basically Waddle is out, you have Lad McConkey, you have both of those guys, and you're scrounging for somebody, um, you might want to roll the dice and take the shot there. But
So, yeah, and but to your main point though, there's probably a lot of people who are scrounging for some wide receiver help this week. Sutton and Franklin are on by, Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen are on by, Waddle's on by, Debo Samuel's on by. You got Brian Thomas hurt, you got Marvin Harrison out. I mean, there's a lot of people he's probably in the range of looking to play. I don't have as much confidence as you do, but we can have people can take of it what
yeah.
they will.
And
Um,
going back to the Schultz conversation, just so you
yeah,
know, I mean, based on the season right now, the Buffalo Bills are the best at defending the tight end right now. They only let up 4.8 fantasy points. So they're they're 32nd ranked defense. Basically defending the tight end. So again, targets are king. It depends on who's showing up, right? Um, if he gets, I'd probably say if he gets 7 receptions for 53 yards, that's still a fantastic day PPR. So,
yeah. Um, Other options for the Texans. I'm not really interested in playing them here. I mean, I think it's just going to be a very low scoring game. And as far as the Texans defense, I know a lot of people have been rolling with them. They've basically been one of the best defenses all year, just in general, NFL wise, fantasy wise. I wouldn't do it here because it's the Buffalo Bills, but I could see this game hitting the under in general. I'm not crazy about any of the options per se outside of the ones that we named. Um, you know, so take your shots as they will. Uh, any other thoughts on this game? Yeah,
no, I mean, honestly, I'm honestly hoping for a better Thursday night football game. There was some good ones this year, and
I don't
they've
know if
kind
we're
of,
gonna get it.
yeah, I mean, like I said last week and the week prior, I feel like some of these players are just not wanting to be out there, to be honest. And honestly, this late in the season, if I was a player in their position, I wouldn't want to be out there as well too, because short week, late in the season, injuries happen. Really hope nobody gets injured this week.
Yep. Let's go to the next game. We got the Indianapolis Colts at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are home favorites, -3.5 points. The over under there is a nice 49.5 points. This is a huge game for AFC playoff picture
For a
here.
1 o'clock game too, this is a good one.
Yeah. Must starts for the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, the best back in football, is now back. So you guys could rejoice whoever was missing him, including us. Michael Pittman, you're playing him. Ty Warren, you're playing him. On the Kansas City side, Rashee Rice, you're playing him. Travis Kelce, you're playing him. And Patrick Mahomes, you are playing him. He's not playing the Denver defense now, so you're back to rocking and rolling with him. On
Yeah, I
the
mean, and going back to Jonathan Taylor, especially with the Kansas City Chief right now, they are the 26th ranked defense when it comes down to the rush going to the running back,
Sure.
defending the running back. So I'm getting a little bit more in depth with this week moving forward because we're talking about, you're not benching Jonathan Taylor, but you're not expecting 3 touchdowns for 180 yards, 200 yards. It's just not happening against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have been playing very good defense. Even though they've been losing games, this is probably I'd probably say one of their best years playing defense. Spags has been figuring it out. It's just they can't move the ball up and down the field on offense.
They have been. They just ran into a wall of Denver. I mean, when they have a team that basically locks down Rashee Rice, it's incumbent upon Kelce, who has lost some steps since his prime, to carry the load, and he
But you got
can't.
a lot of talent around there, and they're not moving the ball. You got Worthy, a very speedy back. You have Hollywood Brown,
Eh,
who maybe have less stepped a little bit, but they were going to Thornton before Rice was there.
that's true.
So I mean, they have the talent. Pacheco's not being there. Not being there could be a step back. Because now you're leaning on Kareem Hunt, and then also, some of the younger guys there. But in all reality, I mean, they still have a tremendous amount of talent. What happened to Noah Gray? Noah Gray is
He fell off.
nobody.
He
Yeah,
fell off the planet. I don't know.
apparently.
I'll push back on they have so much talent. It's a severely, it's a dissipated Kelce. It's really just Rashee Rice or bust. And, Denver did a nice job. And Denver's defense is really amazing. So before that, they were doing fine. So I have no qualms about Casey, bouncing back here at all. I think they will. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if I'll pick the game, but fantasy wise, we name the must starts, probably starts. So Kareem Hunt, we've got here. Again, this one to me is entirely dependent on Isaiah Pacheco. If they're both playing, I don't know if I feel so keen on throwing either one of them in there, but if
Sure.
Pacheco's out, you could roll with Kareem Hunt. And we've got Daniel Jones as a probably start. So he's coming off the bye. He's had some real good games this year. He's been really good, and he's had a couple games that weren't the best. Um, I think he's a lower end quarterback one this week. I don't know if I'm so crazy about it. I mean, we could call out names that we think maybe we'd play over him, but I think you're probably playing him if you held on to him over the bye week or if you picked him up. I think you're looking to play him. Um, let's talk about some other options here on the Kansas City side. We've moved away from Worthy as being like, people being excited about it. He really hasn't had a good week in forever. I mean, we had him as a drop candidate this week too. So I'm not crazy about playing him here, nor Hollywood, nor Juju. But Tommy, are you excited to throw Pierce back in?
Yeah, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about Pierce. I think that he can, obviously jump in and, get some of those out routes, and honestly, be down the field and catch some of those deep balls. So I honestly think that the play action is something that they really do very, very well with, because of Jonathan Taylor. And if this is mistake-free football, I think Indianapolis wins this game. Which honestly, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for it. So, defensively, they're healthy.
They
Gardner
have had
Johnson.
2 weeks to play for it.
Yep,
You're right.
yep. Gardner Johnson is basically going to be going against Rashee Rice, and if he takes away Rashee Rice, well, that's all she wrote.
Now,
Besides,
Sauce Gardner was not able to defend Drake London, whatever it was a few weeks ago. He made him look really bad. So we'll see.
mm,
I
I
th
mean, if you look at the stats, yes, when it comes down to that, but if you look at the defensive plays, he actually defended him extremely well.
Other than the times that he didn't, but
Other than maybe one or two plays that,
we're
took
pretty
it away.
egregious.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is what it is.
I don't know
Hey,
who I don't know.
Revis, Darrell Revis basically made some mistakes at times, but he was still the best of the best, right?
Not during 2009 and 2010. He did
Yeah.
not.
All right, well.
Um, I would say this is going to be a very close game. Very, very close game. I don't know who I would pick. Ask me again in a couple days.
Well, ask me. Ask me.
You just said you think the Colts are going to win this
Yep.
game.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue.
Right. That made me laugh. I wouldn't bother with Josh Downs. So there we go. So let's go to the next game. We've got the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals. New England Patriots are road favorites, minus 7.5 points. The over-under there is 49.5 points. This is an interesting game. Lot to break down here. So must start. You're playing Travion Henderson.'s go. You keep it
Yeah.
rocking and rolling. Stay in the flames. And you're playing Stephon Diggs. He's been so good as of late, and actually, I don't care about the Kayshon Boutte situation. I think you play Diggs and you move on here. Um, if it starts to move away from that, we'll pivot. But I mean, right now you have to play him. It is what it is, especially against the Cincinnati Bengals defense. So
Yeah.
it's Stephon Diggs, and basically for the same reason, Hunter Henry. He's been a little underwhelming, but how do you not play him here against
Yeah.
the Bengals defense?
I mean, let me just put it this way. When you're going against the second worst quarterback, defending the quarterback, the first worst, the worst, defending the running back, the 19th, so middle of the pack, defending the wide receiver, but that basically defending wide receiver fantasy points goes to 24.7. The worst against the tight end, 18.8. And I mean, kicker, we're not even going to talk about that. But so, like, overall ranked, the seventh worst defense. I can't even say they're the seventh worst defense. I think they are the complete worst defense out there. It just,
Yeah, well, and
it's amazing.
especially with Dallas's acquisitions, they've stayed the worst. So for sure they're bad.
Oh, yeah.
And so for that reason, man, let's go Drake May. He might finish as the number one quarterback this week. You're rolling with him. By the
Yeah.
way, Drake May,
He's been great.
who's second in the MVP voting, by the way, at the moment to Mr. Matt Stafford, who we'll talk about later. Must start for the Bengals. So you're playing Chase Brown, and in Jamar Chase's absence, absolutely you are playing T. Higgins. T. Higgins should have a good game in this. We're hoping for, but we'll see if maybe they don't key on him or something. But the Bengals shouldn't crumble just because they don't have Chase. They do have offensive firepower.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I know we're talking about Higgins right here, but Santa Claus
Uh, we'll
is
t
coming to town.
All right, we'll get to that. Let's talk probably starts. So, given the line, and given there could be a propensity for some turnovers here, you can start the Patriots defense. I would say it's a very low defense one play, but you could roll with him here. No other probably starts to mention, but I don't want to bury the lead. So Tommy's talking about, Fanta Claus. So a general other options here. So you feel good about Fanta Claus over Yosivas as the second pass catcher?
I think Santa Claus is coming to town this weekend
All right.
to a
Um,
Fox channel near you.
I don't know. I still think Yosivas is fine if you need it. He will get targets.
He's gonna get targets, but honestly, I think it's tis the season. And I don't like to play narrative like this, but you know what? This is not narrative anymore. It happens every year. It's
And
late November, early December. Santa Claus is coming to town.
well, it's not just a completely narrative. I could at least, you know, excuse me, wrap my head around the fact of like, hey, Jamar Chase isn't there. Some secondary options are going to get some other targets. Joe Flacco's not going to throw 20. Those are like 20 extra targets that would normally go to Chase that was going to go elsewhere. So I
Yep.
could wrap my head around that. I don't have. I'm not fighting you on that.
I mean, and Christian Gonzalez is basically going to be all over. Christian Gonzalez is going to be all over T. Higgins. So where else is
Yes.
those targets going to go? Santa Claus is coming to town.
Other options here for the Patriots. So I would say you could take a shot on Boutte, you could take a shot on Douglas, you could take a shot on Matt Collins. They're not all going to have a good game, but there's definitely other value to be had against the Bengals defense. You guys can decide who you'd like to take that shot on. If it
Yep.
was me, I would go Matt Collins, but you guys can decide what you want to go there. And you can throw Flacco in there. I've actually pivoted away from him in a league because I think this is, and they're talking about Joe Burrow coming back next week. I'm not so crazy about it this week. So you guys could decide if you want
Hmm.
to go that route. So let's go to the next game. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are home favorites minus 2.5 points. The over under there is 44.5 points.
Now, the only reason why they're favorites is because of Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know that. The Bears have been, the cardiac kids as of late, but they're not a bad team.
But but we all know that Aaron Rodgers is majority owner of the Chicago Bears.
Yes, he
So
is. But he's not part of the bleeding green and yellow crew right at the moment. So,
doesn't matter.
well, let's get into it. Must starts on the Chicago Bears side. We got one must start for you. It's DeAndre Swift. Must start on Pittsburgh side. Normally we would have Jalen Warren here, and he absolutely is for us. If he's out, then immediately Ken Gainwell is a must start.
Yeah.
So, insert Pittsburgh running back here.
Yeah, you guys who own Warren, you better have Gainwell back there because you need to
Yep.
pivot that way. Especially this late in the season. Billy has a very big had a very big conversation, about 2-3 weeks ago with everybody saying, go get your handcuffs because things do happen. And I made it very clear a couple weeks ago, with the Thursday night injuries, these are things you have to be ahead. Um, Personally, sometimes I look at Thursday night football games and I go, hey, I got a running back on this. I want to potentially get their backup and just hold on to them just in case something does happen. And 9 out of 10 times it does happen. Like with the J.K. Dobbins thing,
Sure.
he's out, he's done. So if you had R.J. Harvey, which most likely there was a point where he potentially was a waiver guy, but you probably didn't draft both of those guys, and if you did, great. Hopefully you held on to both of them. But you need those backups because late in the season, unless you have a tremendous amount of RB1s and high end RB2s, you're going to be in a rough spot.
You're going to be in a rough spot. And to your point, like some of the things, it wasn't just me. It was what we talked about. Like, think of guys who are out and out, like, or who in and out. Like, if you don't have Warren, you need Gainwell. Otherwise,
Yep.
you're not going to, it would have been really hard for you to get him on the waiver wire. And if you had Josh Jacobs, you really should have had Emmanuel Wilson. We called that out for how many umpteen weeks here. So, I mean, this stuff happens. Like, God knows who may or may not get injured. Like, if you have Bijan, you better have Algier. If you have
Hmm.
kyren, you better have Corum, et cetera, down the line. And we call that out. We go through every single running back scenario. every single week on our waiver show. So you need to pay attention to that.
Yeah, and everybody that I mean, again, we'll make a short into this as well too. But everybody that is watching our TikToks and watching all our shorts, they should really relate themselves to our YouTube videos because, again, sometimes those TikTok shorts are cut short for a reason for us to bring you to this full video. This full video is going to give you very, very, very in-depth information. It's not trying to be a sales tactic here, but what it is, it's something that's supposed to bring you to the real content, and this is the real content.
The real content.
The real content with
Uh,
Santa Claus.
all right, probably starts for the Pittsburgh Chicago game. So on the Bears side, given the line and given how opportunistic the Bears defense has been, you could probably roll with the Bears defense. Although, if it was me, if Rodgers is playing, which I don't think he will play, but if he's playing, I would be a little wary of that. But if it's Rudolph, go for it. And probably start, Adunze, it's been not the best as of late. I mean, after he had that big blow up game, it's been not the best. But you got to keep rolling with him. He is the number one target on that team. He has a rapport with Caleb. You probably should play him. And if anything, they could have a bounce back week. And, Tommy, what were you saying about the Steelers defense? Good at home, bad away, and they're
Pretty
away.
much, sure.
So, all right. And so we got to probably start here, Metcalf. And, Tommy, I would feel a lot better if it's Rodgers, but is he still probably play if it's Rudolph?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm backtracking to 2024. So week 8, 9, 15, 16, and 13, he was full starts. And to be honest, sorry, week 15 against Cincinnati, he was half. So whoever, basically he jumped in and he started over. But he had some pretty good games. He had outside the top 12, so he was pretty much a streaming quarterback, but 21.5 points, 10.5, 16.8, 17.4. He threw for a total of 8 touchdowns in those those 4 games right there. So, if you got talent around him, which he does, and he has structure, which he does, and he's playing against a semi-weak Chicago Bears defense. I think that he could, Metcalf could be a hyper-targeted asset over the tight end play.
Okay.
So it could be something that, we're hoping that Warren plays. If Rodgers doesn't play, it's unfortunate because again, he's majority owner of the Chicago Bears. But if he doesn't play, I still feel pretty good about the talent he has around him, meaning Mason Rudolph to be productive, and Metcalf would be a full start for me.
Okay. Well, right now we'll leave him at probably. The only other probably name is actually Caleb Williams himself. Again, they're playing Pittsburgh in their home, so you could roll with that. I got it. He's been a little bit up and down, but the potential's there. Lower end quarterback one. Let's talk some other options here. You pointed out the Pittsburgh tight end situation to have been good, but it is a little bit spread out. I mean, I know Darnell Washington, I think that's his name, is the biggest man on the face of the planet. I don't.
We found out that he actually came out with his weight. He's 311 pounds as a tight end.
Yeah, he's gigantic.
Imagine putting him in the backfield for short yardage, just runs as a running back.
That'd be amazing.
I don't understand why they're not doing that.
Well, he's not even the first or second string tight end.
I know he's the third.
Firemouth and Jonnu. So I don't know how you play any of them. Because I mean any one of them could have a gigantic blowout game, but it's hard to really identify. Jonnu could have a good game, Firemouth, etc. So I don't know. I'm not crazy about that, even though there's probably going to be a tight end with a touchdown. So I don't know. Good luck trying to find that. I'm not. Are you crazy about any? I know you're not going to be crazy about it, but would you be willing to throw in Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson for Pittsburgh?
No,
Yep. Yeah.
no. I mean, I'm in a position in one league where I have a lot of players injuries and also a lot of players with buys this week. That's my lad and also my uh, Jalen Waddle. Plus, also I have Marvin Harrison, who's declared out again this week. So I was leaning to him in my wide receiver. But and a guy when we talk about the Giants game, who I feel pretty good about, pretty confident about. I'm actually starting the guy in the Giants game over Calvin Austin.
All right, we'll get to that. And the only other option really to mention on the Bears is I know some people might be thinking of throwing in Manungai as an emergency running back too. That's fine. He's super talented. They might spell Swift a little bit, but I would say, just another quick convo about DJ Moore. I don't know. It's been a disappointing year for him. You could always throw him in, and the solace I'll take from it is he finally had a week of practice where he wasn't injured this week, and
Mhm.
he actually practiced on Wednesday. So maybe now he's fully healthy. Maybe now they'll use him. If it's going to happen, he's at home playing a road Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I don't know. I could see it being decent enough. You could take that shot if you want to, better than a lot of other stuff you could throw in there. So there we go. That's Pittsburgh, Chicago. Let's go to the next game. We've got the worst team in the world, the New York Jets at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are home favorites minus
And we're
13.
done talking about them.
The Ravens are home favorites minus 13 and a half points. The over under there is 44 and a half points. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the number one defense this week, the Ravens defense. Um, Unbelievable, unbelievable. So you're playing the Ravens, you're playing Derrick Henry, who should have 10,000 points this week. You're playing Zay Flowers, you're playing Mark Andrews, you're playing Lamar Jackson. You're playing the whole team. Um,
Now,
prob
I think honestly, if you were able to make a trade just for 1 week, if you were to make a trade for all these players that play for the Baltimore Ravens, you probably could win your week. Probably could
Probably.
win that week.
Yeah,
Even 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 if you weren't able to like fill the full roster, you probably could win your week.
every single player for Baltimore is gonna do well. Probably starts. We got one name for you. That's the lone guy from the Jets. That's Mr. Brees Hall. Probably start him if you got him. I got it. He's might be the only guy with a decent day. We should point out, so Tyrod Taylor, there's no competitive advantage anymore for the Jets. Tyrod Taylor's gonna be the quarterback. So maybe there's some more upside that he'll actually maybe get to 150 passing yards instead of 40. And so maybe there's a little bit more upside than there would otherwise be with Justin Fields. We don't know. Other options here. I'm not mentioning a single player on the Jets. So the Ravens, Tommy, you're a big fan of Likely. I don't know if I would throw him in here.
Nah,
You're a fan of Bateman. I don't know if I would throw him in here. You're a fan of Hopkins. I don't know if I would throw him in here. I don't know. I
I
feel like we
haven't been a
named him.
fan of Hopkins since week 3.
I guess we named all the options then.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Although I feel obligated because my brother mentioned and we kind of were talking off air to mention that keep an eye on Adonai Mitchell for the rest of the season. Maybe he has a decent game, and so
Yeah, maybe
therefore
he could catch a ball
yeah. Well, maybe he has bounced back. Okay, I have made my obligatory Adonai Mitchell mention. We're moving
and
on.
move on.
Yeah. Uh, Speaking of destruction, we've got the Seattle Seahawks at the Tennessee Titans. The Seahawks are road favorites minus 13 and a half points. The over under there is 40 and a half points. I just want to point out this is the lowest implied points I've seen the whole year. I'm going to have to look into this, how far back this is. The implied points for the Titans is 13 and a half points. Um, so maybe they are better than the Ravens. The Ravens and Seahawks 1 and 2. So you play your Seahawks defense and you're playing JSN. Oh my gosh. Probably starts. We've got one name, Sam Darnold. I am calling a Sam Darnold bounce back in
Oh
this
yeah.
game. That was the game that he just had to Tommy's dismay, man. That was an awful performance. That was really bad. But it was at the Rams, so it wasn't the best matchup.
Yeah. We were not impressed with his performance.
No, but he absolutely should have a bounce back. Other options here. So I can't wait to ask Tommy this question. So who are you starting in the Seattle backfield?
I'm honestly so if I had one of them or honestly you really are not benching any of them this week. You're playing both of them.
You think you could play both of them? I think that's
Yeah.
fine. I think they're
I
both good
think
shots in this.
and I don't want to poo-poo too much on Tennessee's defense. Tennessee's defense has been pretty decent lately, but they're gonna lose this game pretty badly.
They they are. I think Walker and Charbonnet are both good shots. And it's,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are obsessed now with Walker all of a sudden. Like people don't remember like that bounces. I mean, they go hot hand. Charbonnet
Uh-huh.
still gets goal line carries. Like just I think both are good shots. I agree with you. Any other options? Any other pass catchers for Seattle? Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, Rashid Shaheed, or even AJ Barner?
I mean, I think they're gonna try to get Shaheed going this week. This is a get right game for him. So,
I think
um,
that there's probably other value there, but it'll be hard to discern who's going to get it just
yeah.
sitting where we're sitting. So you can take a shot, but it's going to
Mhm.
be hard. On the Tennessee side, I don't want to play
You're
a
not
single
starting
player.
anybody.
I do think that you could throw in Pollard or Spears as very low end running back options.
I think the only person that you potentially could throw in there is Spears.
I
In a
like Spears more than
in a
Pollard.
PPR set, PPR half point PPR setting.
Yes. I wouldn't play. It's unfortunate. We say this all the time. The Titans have their receivers have the coolest names. You're just never going to play them. Elikayo Menor and Kamara DK. You're never playing them. So yeah, that's it. Nobody else to talk about for the
Yep.
Titans. So let's talk about Tommy's favorite game in the whole world. We've got the New York Giants at the Detroit Lions. Detroit minus 10.5 points. The over under there is 49.5 points. Before I say anything else, Tommy, who's the quarterback for the Giants this week?
I was looking into this. I mean, so Dart, he was full limited practice. Well, I don't know what full
A
limited
full
practice
limited
is.
practice.
Yeah, that's what it was. Um, so I honestly hope that they just sit him again and just play Jameis.
You want
Jameis,
you want them to sit him the rest of the season.
yeah, I do. There is zero reason. You know he's the quarterback of the future. You know it. It's just that's what it is. Don't put this guy out there with no talent around him and get destroyed.
Okay. I agree.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it. You paid two quarterbacks to come in. Let them take the hits.
If they put Russ out there,
And honestly, Jameis is very entertaining, you know, and he is
oh, he's the
and
best.
he's the best. He's the best. And he just is such a motivator. He wants to play. Let the guy play. You're paying him to play. Let him play.
Yeah.
Because my guy that I want to talk about
We'll
will
talk.
go off.
We'll talk about him. We'll talk about him shortly. We're gonna. Jameis Winston is competitive advantage.
He
Um,
is competitive
all
advantage.
right. So unless it's Russ, so if it's Dart or Jameis, I generally feel the same about the game in general. So the implied points, I mean, the Detroit's going to get 1 million points here, and the Giants, their implied points is 19.5. I don't know how much that moves if it's Jameis or Dart. So you're playing your Lions defense, you're playing Jahmyr Gibbs, you're playing Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're playing Jamison Williams, stay in the flames, let's go. And you're playing Jared Goff. Again, I hope this isn't a game where they put up 50 points and he has 8 points, but you can't run away from 30 implied points for the Lions. No
Mhm.
must starts for the Giants, but let's talk about probably starts. So yeah, Tommy, why don't you sing Wandell's praises here?
Well, yeah, I was actually the guy that I wasn't really leaning to was
Oh,
Wandell.
sorry.
I think Wandell is a nice plug-in if needed in a flex. But
Yes.
I think there's another guy that was signed off of the 49ers practice squad last week. And a guy named Isaiah Hodgins.
Oh,
Um, I think if Jameis is the starting quarterback, I think Isaiah Hodgins coming into that game, he had 6 targets, 5 receptions, 57 yards, and he almost had a touchdown basically on this one big play. Um,
I had no idea where you were going with that.
Isaiah Hodges
Oh,
is my late round,
yeah.
go get him if you needed kind of play. I am
That's a
playing him.
DFS start, man.
I am playing him in my wide receiver 2 spot this week because I am so weak with injuries and buys.
You can't pick up like any of the other names that we could
No,
name. I mean,
this is in one of these other leagues that basically there's I think 11 bench spots.
all right. Yeah.
It was a 21 or 22 round league. There's nobody out there. You know,
It's
you got guys hoarding. It's a single quarterback league. You got guys hoarding 4 or 5 quarterbacks, while I'm hoarding all the running backs. So
that's a good position to
it
hoard
is a
then.
great position. I'd rather just sit on 2 quarterbacks or one and just roll the dice there.
All right. Well, for the sake of the sanctity of our podcast, we're not going to call that player a probably start. But Wandale Robinson, we've counted as a probably start here because Slayton is likely not to play. Um, on top of the fact of hey, it's another game. Like especially if it's Jameis, like and also Wandale had a decent enough game in the past game. I think that they're going to be behind. They'll look to throw. Wandale's a good probably start here, and Theo Johnson. I mean. Had some success this past week with Jameis. He's again from a talent perspective, very, very good tight end. We called it out. Like he's been so good for a lot of the weeks. I actually think he might be better with Dart, but he's still fine to throw in there as a probably start, even with Jameis. And probably start David Montgomery. So Tommy, you know the equation. Hey, in games in which you think Detroit is going to smash the team, you play David Montgomery. So this is the perfect example of that. Lions are going to smash them. Other options here, Tommy, would you be willing to throw in Tracy or Singletary?
I mean, with these buys, you may have to, you may be forced. I actually, I'm, I'm starting Singletary in the same league, same on that same team this week. So
11 bench spot. I mean, if it's
let me
deep,
tell you something. I've been rolling with wins, so it is what it is. Sometimes
uh,
you gotta go for those shots. I do
absolutely.
have a nice baseline on that roster, which is going to give me at least at minimum 70 points. But to get those capitalize on some higher points, sometimes you got to go that route.
I put Tracy and Singletary very similar to Pollard and Spears. You could throw in both of them,
They're higher for me, to be honest.
really? Okay.
Yeah, they're on a better offense than the Tennessee. Tennessee's
I would not put them both on the same level as Walker or Charbonnet though this week. So,
no. Walker and Charbonnet are on a top tier offense. Uh,
they just completely split each other.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Other options here is really, other than Mr. Hodge, I guess there's really nothing to talk about. I know some people might be excited about Hyatt for not good reasons. Don't go that route.
No,
Um,
do
no
not
other
do it.
really no other options to talk about on Detroit. Like we see there being a complete consolidation. I know some people are excited about Brock Wright. I don't think I would go that route. In this one, I think that there are better options to have. Um,
Yeah.
let's go to the next game. We got the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are home favorites minus 6.5 points. The over-under is 41.5 points. So not a lot of points for the Vikings there. So you play your Packers defense. Let's go. Other must starts for the Packers. So I love that they're not declaring it, but Josh Jacobs is going to be out. So
Yep.
therefore, must start Emmanuel Wilson. Let's go. Like Tommy was mentioning earlier. So if Josh Jacobs is magically in, then forget that I said that and play Josh Jacobs. So, but he's not going to be in, not this game. The only other must start for the Vikings is it's going to be Justin Jefferson. Hopefully, he has a nice bounce back. Or at least PPRs his way to some victory. I think the Packers might really shut the door on the Vikings here. Um,
I don't know. I
okay.
don't know. I think this might be a game that a little revenge game that for Aaron Jones.
Oh, let's go to probably starts then. We've got Aaron Jones as a probably start, who is in a revenge game. He's already had a bunch of revenge games against them. But you could probably start. He's been real good as of late. You could roll with him. I like how I like how he's looked. He's looked real athletic.
It's in
Um,
Green Bay too.
and it's in Green Bay.
Well,
Um, other options here. I know you're going to say Christian Watson, but I'm trepidatious about playing all the Green Bay wide receivers. Can you make me feel better about Watson? Or
um, I feel pretty good about Watson, especially against the Minnesota Vikings defense. Minnesota's defense has been fairly decent against the wide receiver. Only letting up 21.9 fantasy points to the wide receiver. But again, it seems like, he is the go-to target in the red zone, like Tucker, like
Kraft?
Kraft was, Tucker Kraft. He's cleaning up that. There was, split times where Dobbs was the guy. It's not Dobbs anymore. It's Dobbs. Dobbs was dropping the ball a lot last week in the previous week, on some of these key plays. So I think that Watkins is a guy that basically you could trust and you could throw him in your lineup and he could put up at least a touchdown this week.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I'm taking a shot on him in our league together. I mean, I actually have a lot of wide receiver issues in there. Like Drake London's out, Marvin Harrison's out, Troy Franklin's on bye. And like I absolutely need it. So I'm going to be rolling with him. So I need that wide receiver help, and hopefully he can. I'm
Good
hoping he gets
luck.
that touchdown. Other options here for the Packers. I wouldn't play any of the other receivers not named Watson. I would stay away from Musgrave. It's just not as good. And I told you now at this point, I'm done with Jordan Love. He couldn't do it in like a couple of the weeks that I was like, if he can't do it, and then I gave him another chance and another chance, I'm done. The fact that I said that now, I'm sure he's going to go have an amazing game. But
Uh-huh.
you guys judge it. Other options for the Vikings, completely stay away from Hawkinson. He's just a drop candidate for us. One of the most underwhelming players in all of fantasy. But would you be willing to take a shot on Addison or just a bridge too far there?
I think it's a little bridge too far. I want to see Jefferson start heating up before I could
So do
start
I.
feeling better about another player.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. And stay away from McCarthy. Um, so let's talk about the greatest game of all time this week. We've got the Cleveland Browns at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are home favorites, -3.5 points. The over under there is 36.5 points. So
I think Cleveland wins this game, but not by the offensive play. I think by
uh,
their defense.
it might just be a 15-13 game.
It might be less.
So given the over under, both defenses are must plays this week. Absolutely. The both of them. And I don't care that like the implied points is more like you got to play the Browns. The Browns might have 5 turnovers in this game. We'll see. The only other must start we have in this game is Brock Bowers, and I am, for our sake, I'm just hoping he PPRs his way to victory here.
Hmm.
So maybe he rolls into the end zone. Um, that because that's how bad this game is. Let's go to probably starts. Normally, guys that would kind of be in must. I know not for Tommy all the time, but Jeanty we've got as a probably. You don't have to play him in this game. Think about what other options you've got, and maybe if you don't, you'll have to roll with it. But Jeanty, man, like it wasn't pretty, and now he's playing the Browns. Ugh. Like I'm not crazy about it. And I'll admit it, Judkins here. Judkins is a probably start. It hasn't been so good, but it's really not his fault. It's just that offense does nothing. Like if they gave him some sort of a bit of a passing threat, they wouldn't have to put 9 in the box every play.
Well, it just is what it is. And also, I mean, honestly, I don't think they're going to put nine in the box. They might put eight in the box this week, and that less one. But I'll be real with you. I think they're gonna try. They're gonna let Shador try to throw the ball on them,
I
and
think they'll try.
yeah, it's gonna be
I,
bad.
I think Shador's gonna have an awful game, but I still think the Browns win this game. I just
This might this might be a collective 10 interception game.
it might be. It just might be. Ugh. Um, Other options in this game. I mean, the only other options to talk about on Cleveland is the tight ends. I think at this point, some of the shine is a little bit off here on even a little bit on both of them, but there's very, very low tier options. You could probably throw either one of them in. This is a
I
game
think
I don't want to play
Njoku
either of them.
is I think Njoku has a better shot this week
Then
over Fannin.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I I, I wouldn't want to play either of them, but yeah, take of it what you will. And I don't want to play a single other player on the Raiders, man. Not Trey Tucker, not Tyler Lockett, not in this game. No, geez, this is going to be, you're right. This game might be 15 to 11, 10 interceptions.
Yeah.
Um, let's go to the next game. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Arizona Cardinals. Jacksonville Jaguars are road favorites, -2.5 points. The over under there is 47.5 points. Must starts here. Okay, you're going to play Travis Etienne. Okay, and hopefully he can dominate the backfield and not have to split everything with Tootin. And no news yet necessarily on Tootin's injury. I think he'll be fine though.
I think it'll be
Um,
fine.
and you are playing Trey McBride, who should have another game where he has 10,000 targets and 10,000 catches. Let's go. Let's go to probably starts. I mean, so it's been declared that Marvin Harrison is out, and we saw what Michael Wilson did. So you should roll with Michael Wilson if you got him. So go ahead, rock and roll with Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
And I think Jacoby Brissett is a probably. I think it's just too good. I have a feeling that there's going to be some bit of a letdown, but not enough to make me not want to play him in this game. He just came off of setting the NFL record for completions in a game in a loss versus San Francisco. I don't see how you do that at home against Jacksonville. I think you could roll with Brissett here. Good probably start. Other options here. So with the DeMarcado injury news, Tommy, it's going to be Bam Knight and Michael Carter splitting the backfield. I know you're partial to Bam Knight. You'd throw him in here.
Yeah, I'd lean Bam Knight over Michael Carter.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much disagree. Other options for Arizona. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get 47 completions. We're definitely not. But
No.
Greg Dortch, deep league option here.
Uh, I mean, honestly, a lot of it went to both those guys last week within Wilson and McBride. So, I mean, I think it still gets pushed that way. I
Okay.
don't see why it changes. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Let's talk the other options for the Jaguars. Break down the receiving situation for me. We're going to assume that Brian Thomas is out. So would you be willing to only play Myers, Myers in Washington? What do you think?
I think Washington, I think Washington is going to start taking a little bit of a setback. I think Myers is going to start taking a little bit more of a, uptick in snaps and getting a little bit more targets. So, I think even with Brian Thomas back, I still think that Myers was brought there for a reason. Again, I made it very clear he is a great route runner. He will command the ball. He will catch the ball, even with Trevor Lawrence throwing him slightly off target throws. He will catch that ball. So he's good. He's a needle mover. He's going to move that ball, and he's going to be open in the end zone or get other guys open in the end zone. So I think both of them are pretty good plays this week between Washington and the law firm. But I think Jacoby Myers does a better job this week against this team.
Any love for Brenton Strange? Or I
Uh,
think he's a lower option this
I
week,
don't know if
personally.
Doctor Strange comes back this week. Hopefully
Yeah.
he comes back soon because he does he does move the ball as well too. He's a good
Yeah.
pass catching tight end, and also he's a good blocker for that offense.
Keep an eye on Tootin. Very similar to Monungai, he's a deep league option as as even though he's the secondary quote unquote option on his team, he's a good deep league option. So keep an eye on his injury situation. And I would say Trevor Lawrence, I mean, we don't have him as a probably start, but in a game where their implied points is 25, you could do worse if you had to nab somebody off of the waiver wire. So if you do way worse than that. Let's go to the next game. We've got the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are home favorites, minus 1.5 points. The over-under is 39.5 points. So if anybody didn't hear the news, so Michael Penix is out for the season with his knee situation. It's going to be
Yep.
Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, for the rest of the year, and that does not help the Falcons. So must starts in this game. You got Bijan Robinson, and that's it. And so probably starts because of the line both the Falcons and the Saints. You could roll with both defenses in this game. Think of this as a much worse Browns Raiders game in terms of defenses. Other probably starts in this game. It's been bad for Kamara, Tommy, but coming off the bye after after hardships, but in a game in which that they are favored, I think Kamara is a good probably play here.
Eh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Kamara. I think honestly, I have to bump Chris Olave up to the must start. He's been too productive. Especially with both quarterbacks. There is no way that he does not finish in the top 12 this week again.
Okay. Yeah. So, not to bury the Thomas lead here. So we've got Chris Olave as a probably start. You heard it from Tommy. He thinks he's a must start. It's tough for me to get there given the line and everything, but it's very hard to run away from all those targets. Um, Other probably starts. We got both tight ends. So with Drake London out, I am of the opinion that everybody's obsessed with Darnell Mooney. You know how we feel about Darnell Mooney on this podcast. Not so good. But we've always been kind of this year anyway. We've been pro Kyle Pitts, so this could be a good opportunity for him. Hopefully, a consolidation of targets, and it is Kirk Cousins. He's had some success with Kirk Cousins in the past in various different stints. And we got Juwan Johnson. So Tommy, you identified him as he could be a league winner
Mhm.
for teams this year. Let's see it. This is his first shot out of it. They're coming out the bye. They're favored. Let's go. Juwan Johnson with Tyler Show at the helm. Let's see him do
Same
it.
thing with Chris Olave. I think they're going to both command a lot of targets. They are pretty much, target one, target two. And then Kamara is a second thought, or a third thought, to be
Yep.
honest. And he's such an ultra talented running back, especially with being a pass catcher. But all those targets that used to go to Kamara are going to both of those guys, and they're getting them involved. So
Yep, I agree. I have some faith in Tyler Show. So I wanna see him keep it going. Keep being efficient.
yeah, keep
Um,
showing us you could do it.
yes. I don't know if it's Tyler Show or Tyler Show or whatever, however it is. We're gonna keep saying Tyler Show because it's easier to say.
Hey,
Um,
let me tell you, tell the show if you want to come on this show and you want to tell us exactly how to
uh,
pronounce your name, we'll allow you.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll allow it. Other other options here for Atlanta. So yeah, like the aforementioned Darnell Mooney. So he's been a big pickup this week. We put him on our pickups, even though like we're not a fan of it. We've seen Mooney without London before, and it was a failure. And now it's with Kirk Cousins, even though
Yeah.
like there's a narrative that Kirk Cousins likes Mooney, whatever. So I'm not a fan of it, but I'm at least acknowledging that, hey, if you want to take that shot, I can understand the narrative street of, hey, London's out, you could roll with Mooney. So we've mentioned it. I think he falls on his face there, but
It's a
you,
shot, but he's definitely gonna fall on his face.
yeah. And Algier, if you think that he's going to vulture a touchdown from Bijan, go ahead and play him. That's your call. And
Yeah.
I would not play a single other person on the Saints.
Let's just put it this way. I'd rather play Isaiah Hodgins over Darnell Mooney.
Man, the deepest of the deep. But
That's
yes,
deep.
I think that's one that I'd rather play Darnell Mooney.
Okay.
You got me to say it. All right. So let's go to the next game. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. Philadelphia are road favorites minus 3.5 points. The over under there is 47.5 points. Um, I'm making a call now. I think the Cowboys win this game. I do.
Huh.
I think the Cowboys win
Interesting.
this. Yeah. I was thinking more and more about it. I think they win this game. Yep. So I'm staking my claim in it, and I'm sure I'm gonna eat crow, even though, because the Eagles are the best team in football. So I'm sure I'll eat some crow, but I
They're the
think,
best worst team in football.
yeah. Must starts in this game: Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts. Let's go. Dallas side: Javonte Williams and CeeDee Lamb. Let's go to probably starts here. So we notably didn't name George Pickens, Fergalicious, and Dak. They're in probably starts. We moved them because I got it. I think Dallas wins this game. That's my own personal opinion. I'm not gonna act like I don't know what the line is, though. I mean, the implied points for the Cowboys is only 22. They're playing the Eagles defense. This is tough. So,
Well, the
uh,
Eagles haven't been putting up a tremendous amount of points as is anyway.
well, that's true. But I could name the thing is about like Dak. I could name a few quarterbacks I'd rather play than Dak. Maybe not all the guys off the waiver wire, but I could name a few. Fergalicious, it's not been good. It's not been good for Fergalicious as of late. So maybe some of the magic is worn off. I know you were pointing out you wanted to capitalize on trading Fergalicious a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I
So
mean, last week he was 5 for 4, 16 yards and a touchdown. So the touchdown saves this week, which
it's saved it at the very
yeah.
end.
And so he hasn't been playing fantastic. The week before they were on bye, but the week before that he was 26 ranked, and then he was 51st. And then
Right.
before that, that's when he was on his stint. But again, that's when and we made it very clear. CD comes back. CD cuts into targets. CD cutting into targets. Basically, it's not going to be taken away from Pickens as much. It's going to come from Ferguson. So Fergalicious Ferguson.
Yeah.
There are three pass catchers on that offense, and Ferguson is the low man in the totem pole.
Yeah, and again, they are playing the Eagles defense. We're not going to ignore it. So yeah, it's a probably start. It's no longer a must start. And for that reason, George Pickens, he's been so good.
And the
But
thing with though, he's him not getting those targets as much as anymore. Again, it's Ferguson. It's touchdown or bust. That's what it is.
yeah, well, thankfully Pickens is not really touchdown or bust. But again, against the Eagles defense, from a hedging you could think Cowboys are going to do well, but there's a chance that, one of these guys might end up disappointing you. And I think there's a chance that Pickens could be that guy. But again, probably start. It's hard to sit a guy who's been that good as of late. Um, Probably starts on the Eagles. So Tommy, I had this conversation with Johnny last week about the Eagles. So we got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith here. And so I just wanted to say the three main pass catchers in Philadelphia: Dallas Goedert, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. They're not all going to have a good game. They're not. But it's very difficult to sit any of them, right? So
It's difficult to sit, honestly, AJ Brown, and it's difficult to sit, that's pretty much it right there. I think it's easier to sit Devonta Smith.
maybe,
Because I said it last week on the live, and also I think I'm pretty sure I said it in our week breakdown. Is that when AJ Brown goes off or AJ Brown has a good game, Devonta Smith does not. They both do not have good games. It's either
right.
one or the other. And honestly, I go
Yeah.
with AJ Brown based on his chatter and him talking, because he wants that personal gain, um, over Devonta Smith.
What gives me better feelings about it is, hey, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys defense, which may or may not be improved. We don't, not we don't have all
Not
the inf
saying that, you're going to get a zero from Devonta Smith, but don't expect, wide receiver two numbers. Expect potentially wide receiver three numbers.
I agree.
And AJ Brown can finish off, in top 10. That's just it is what it
Or he
is.
could be in the bottom 50. You know what I mean? Like it could
I don't think he'll be
both
in the bottom 50.
I mean, if he ends up with, two catches for 17 yards, it's within
It's
the
not
range
going
of
to happen.
outcomes.
That's not going to happen. The Cowboys secondary is still very bad.
Yep. I think they're well placed there. I think unless you have like it's difficult to sit them. So I think they're well placed
The
there.
other thing is Lane Johnson,
Right.
he may be out this week. So, that injury right there can really devalue the running game and, accept more of a pass rush. And uh the defense for the second, the front four for the Cowboys has gotten a lot better. We all saw it against the Raiders, but the Raiders really could make
Raiders
anybody
O
look
line
good.
is horrific. Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for judgment on that. I've seen
Okay.
this. I've seen flashes from
I
Quinn, and
think
that
you're
never
gonna
turns into
find
anything.
I think you're gonna find the same kind of play this week.
Other options here, Tommy and I have gotten to the same place where we're completely avoiding every other option for Dallas. It's not worth it. Don't go for it. Other options for the Eagles, really none of the other. It was no need to throw Bigsby in, no need to throw in any of the longer options for the farther options for the Philadelphia. Just a quick mention of the Eagles defense because they're one of the best defenses in the league. I don't think this is the place to start them.
No.
So I know that people online are obsessed with them. This is not the place to do it. I would stay away from them here. Um,
I mean, you can play them, but you're gonna take on a lot of points. You're hoping for a couple sacks, some turnovers, and stuff like that. Maybe a defensive touchdown. I don't think the defensive touchdown happens, but
no.
if you're capitalizing on turnovers and sacks, then yeah, you can play them, but you're gonna anticipate anywhere from about 25 plus points on that defense.
Yep. Let's go to the next game. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the LA Rams. The Rams are home favorites, -6.5 points. The over under there is 49.5 points. This is gonna be another interesting game here. Must starts here for the Rams. Kyren Williams, let's go. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams and Matt Stafford, number one on the MVP candidate list right now. So
I think that's gonna slow down a little bit.
I don't know, man. He's got 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's been real good. So let's rock and roll with Matt Stafford. On the Buck side, we only got one must start for you, and that's Emeka Egbegbu, as Gronkowski would say. So let's start probably starts. Given what the line is and how amazing their defense is, probably start is the Rams. My only trepidation is the Bucks know how to put up points. So you guys decide
Yeah.
if you want to go with that power struggle there. Um, other probably starts here. So we've got Sean Tucker as a probably start, and this is going to be kind of very similar to the Green Bay thing. It's like insert Bucks running back here. So if Irving plays, I guess he's a probably start. Although you were mentioning, hey, you want to see it from him
Yeah,
before
I
you get.
think honestly, I think what they're gonna do is, they have two other good running backs. Tucker's been performing as well too. I don't think they rush Irving in. I think, it will be a split carry situation, and it's really not going to take away from Tucker's production. So I think Tucker could be a nice streaming option for the next week, 2 weeks potentially, especially if Irving comes back.
Okay. Other probably starts. We've got Cade Otton and get in the tight end landscape. I got it. It was a bad game this past week, but that happens at the tight end position. You could keep rolling with him. He's still super necessary with Evans out, with Godwin not there, etc.
Mhm.
That's not going to continue forever. I think it really dissipates when Godwin comes back. And, even if Godwin's back this week, I still think Cade is super necessary. But after this, so this might be again, we'll judge Cade as it is, but this is a good probably start for him here.
And again,
Um,
well, going back to Sean Tucker, just
oh, sure,
again,
sure.
I made this very, very clear on the waiver show. Do not anticipate him to have 3 touchdowns again. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's
It's,
not.
it's just not going to happen. You can anticipate maybe one touchdown and not 106 yards or 142 yards, whatever it was with um all-purpose yards.
No, but
It's
if he gets 60 yards on the ground, maybe another 20 or in
I
the
could
air,
see
and
him
then he gets a
having a teen.
touchdown.
I could see him having a teen game, which is really good for a
Good.
fantasy start. Option for RB2 or flex.
A really good option for a probably start. That's why we have them right there. Last probably start, we've got Baker, and a lot of this is just because he is at the Rams. I mean, it's now, by the way, if you go look at Baker's schedule for the rest of the year, it's pretty good. But this is maybe
Yeah.
this one not so much. This might
Yeah,
be the
this
last.
this one I'm a little nervous about. I'm actually in one league. I have Baker as my quarterback, and I am leaning towards the next quarterback we're going to talk about in the next game over Baker this week.
Oh man, which you're all over the place on the next game, which I'm excited to get to. But yeah, I got like Baker and Dak are good examples of guys that we believe in that, we're a little bit like, okay, we recognize they're playing some good defenses this week. So,
You might want to pivot potentially.
if, but only to a good pivot. Like maybe Brissett is one of the only pivots that I would make there.
What about Purdy?
Purdy's one of them for sure.
There we go.
All right. All right. Other options here. You could always throw in Tez Johnson. I got it. It was a bad game last game. It felt like Sean Tucker just took everything, but you could always throw him in. Maybe he'll get that 99-yard touchdown thing. Take your shot as it is. Other options for the Rams, I wouldn't play a single other person. They consolidate everything in
Yeah.
LA. So there we go. Let's talk about some Monday Night Football then. We've got the Carolina Panthers at the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are home favorites, -7 points. The over-under is 48.5 points. So a lot of implied points for the 49ers. So a lot of players to talk about. So must starts for the 49ers. CMC, God himself, you're playing him. George Kittle, you're playing him. And Brock Purdy is a must start after that performance. And, nothing like, and I think that might have been what you were alluding to. I'd play Brock Purdy over Dak and Baker this week. 100%.
There you go.
100%. Must starts for the Panthers. Rico Suave, the running back one for Carolina. You're playing him. Let's go,
Well,
Rocker.
the reason why he's still the running back one is because Chuba Hubbard did come back out and say, he may have came back early, too early. And a lot of times if you're a competitive guy, which Chuba Hubbard is a competitive guy, he just got paid, he wants to play. That's rare to see in the NFL right now. A guy that just got paid, the bank and wants to play. He started to see his position start getting taken away from him.
Sure.
And I think that's what happened. I
I
think
agree.
I don't think it's over for Chuba. I think people are really frustrated with his production, but I think he'll start dwindling back into your fantasy lineups as the season goes on.
We'll see. And we're getting closer to the end of the fantasy season too, so we'll
Hmm.
pay attention to that. But for right now, Rico Suave is a must start. The only other must start for Carolina is Tet McMillan. Let's go. He had that gigantic game, and now he's playing the 49ers defense, which has been improved, but again, they are missing some key pieces. So Tet
Yeah.
McMillan still a must start. Probably starts. We got one thing for you, so that's the
You
49ers
have one
defense.
thing.
It's the 49ers defense, which Tommy was so excited to pick up last week and get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But the 49ers are perfectly good start this week. The Carolina implied points is less than 21 points. So I think you're perfectly fine with the 49ers. But now I think you and I might have a difference of opinion. Let's just get to other options here. So therefore, I'm not so crazy about Bryce Young in this game. Am I wrong?
I think he has a decent play this week. He's going to make some mistakes in this game. It is, across the states and the West Coast. And so I think he's going to make some mistakes, but also I think that they're going to be playing from behind where, you get garbage points, and that's where you're going to get your fantasy production.
Okay. Um,
One player I do feel that, should be a talked about player again, based on his performance he had last week. He had 1 catch, 0 yards, 3 targets, was Ricky Pearsall.
sure.
I anticipate this to be a bounce back week. Kind of like looking at, what he did against Arizona. He was the wide receiver 14, 11 targets, eight receptions, 117 yards. So I could see him basically commanding anywhere from 7 to 8 targets, not that 11. But catching anywhere from 6 to 7 balls. for 80 plus yards and potentially a touchdown this week.
So my opinion is I want to kind of see it from them. I'm not I think he's going to have a nice end to the season, but it's to me it's not a foregone conclusion that him and Jennings don't just kind of split up that, wide
Well, let
receiver
me tell you
alpha
something.
role.
Let me tell you something about Jennings. And I made a statement in the offseason about contracts, right? Jennings is on a I get paid for production contract.
Right, your favorite
Low
kind.
salary, but I get paid per production contract. That is exactly what I feel that these players should get paid on.
Okay, but a lot of them they don't want those and then they hold out,
Well,
the
you
Terry
know what?
McLaurin, etc.
Again, everybody could be a diva at times. But
Yeah,
anyway, I think that Ricky Pearsall still being on his rookie contract still has that oomph and basically will make
sure.
it work. So I think it's going to be a back and forth battle. I think Ricky Pearsall is the better route runner, and I think he's going to command more of an opportunity.
I you might end up being right. I would if it was me, first of all, if I'm in wide receiver purgatory like a lot of teams are, I'd be happy to have either one of those guys to throw in as good shots.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm in a bit more of a position, like if I have, like if I have other guys that like I don't necessarily have to put them in, I'd want to wait and see and just see kind of how it looks. But I think they're both good shots in this game. Um, Really, no other shots to mention on the Carolina side. I'm not interested in playing any of those guys. No tight ends, no nothing. So there's really no other guys to mention.
Yep.
Yeah. So there we go. What game are you most excited for this week?
Dallas and
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Okay. Do you agree with me that Dallas pulls that off, the upset?
I don't know. I think that's going a little too far, but I think based on how the Eagles have been playing offensively, there is a really good possibility that they do capitalize on this game,
That's that's
Dallas.
uh that's how I felt. I felt like the win last week was Fugazi. Um, if it
It
wasn't
was a
for
very emotional win for that team too.
if it wasn't for the whatever it was, 5 4th downs that the Lions didn't get, the Lions would have ran away with that game.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, another game that I'm really interested in is the Kansas City and Indianapolis game. I honestly think Indianapolis wins this game.
I think Kansas City wins that. I do. I do. They're not going quietly into the night, Tommy.
Oh,
They're
so
not.
you made the decision. You think that Kansas City is going to win that game?
I thought about it a little bit, and honestly, what made me think about it, it's like teams that aren't going to give up. They're not that team. Not Patrick Mahomes. Not
Not
Andy
give
Reid.
up, never surrender.
They're not going down. It's
Okay.
just not going to happen. Um, and also I can't wait for the obligatory, the media firestorm after the Cleveland game. That's gonna be fun. We're gonna have
No,
a whole thing in the off
nobody's
season
going to
about
talk
that.
about that game.
Yeah, we'll see. Turn on ESPN at all anytime this week. Watch what
Shador
happens.
Sanders, Shador Sanders, Shador
Yeah.
Sanders, Shador Sanders.
So there we go. That is our week 12 preview. And just a reminder, all of our must starts and probably starts will be posted in the description of this episode's video on YouTube. So check us out there, please. Closing
Yeah.
thoughts, Mr. Lang?
Yeah, we truly appreciate it that takes the time to watch our videos. So if you can please subscribe and share, we truly appreciate it.
In that order. Yes.
In that order.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.